Hello, Anchorage, and welcome to the Anchorage Advice Givers podcast. I am your host, Chris Bowman, owner of Value Driven Realty and creator of the Value Driven Approach to Sell Real Estate. Today's show, we have Benoit, owner of Northern Lights Home Staging and Design. How you doing, Marianne?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing excellent, thank you. Let's jump right in, shall we?
Go for it.
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey that got you to where you're at now.
Okay, and first let me just say thanks so much for inviting me to be on your show. It's really an honor.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, a little about myself and my journey. I would describe myself as an artist and a scientist and an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I've been an artist my whole life ever since I was a kid. These days I kind of express that through my home staging and design business. I like to design and sell jewelry and stained glass. Mm-hmm. I'm also a performing artist, both dance and music. As far as the scientist part, I've been a wildlife biologist for over 25 years, a path that I followed earlier in my life based on my love of animals. Mm-hmm. And then the entrepreneur part of me started coming out about 15, 16 years ago. About 15 years ago, I started my first business, which was Arctic Paradise Bed and Breakfast in Seward, and I still have that business. And then about 2 years ago, I started my second business, which is Northern Lights Home Staging and Design, and what we're going to basically be focused on today. Mm-hmm. I guess the way I kind of got here is that I've always really enjoyed the creative aspects of my life, and the older I get, the more I find that those things are what really makes me happy. And so that's kind of what inspired me to start the second business, and I feel like that's kind of like the focus for me more in the future for what I really want to do.
Got it. Okay. So I guess you're focusing on your home staging and design business. Describe what you offer and who you most love to help with that business.
Primarily what I'm offering, home staging involves decorating a house for sale so that you can get buyers to emotionally connect and fall in love with your house so that you can sell it faster and for more money.
Right.
Another thing I offer as part of that service is social media advertising for home sellers. So, create video and Facebook pages to help people promote their home sales. So, kind of getting at the essence of why is your house so great? Sure. Beyond the pictures on the MLS, which is kind of like just the facts, ma'am. Mm-hmm. And so I do that. And then the other part is as an interior designer, decorator, I really like just working with the average person that just wants to kind of make a little bit of magic happen at their own house so they fall in love with it again themselves, and it really reflects who they are and how they want to live.
Got it. Okay, excellent. Tell me, what's the biggest challenge that you face today in your business?
I would say the biggest challenge is helping homeowners and realtors to realize the power and the value of staging. Mm-hmm. And how making this upfront investment in staging can really help them sell their house faster and for more money.
Sure.
A lot of people think of staging as a cost rather than an investment. And as a cost, if you think about it like that, you're looking for ways to eliminate it or make it less, right? Mm-hmm. The bottom line is that staging, studies have shown if you stage your house, you can sell your house for 79% faster. And you can sell it for 1 to 20% or more higher, mm-hmm. right?
Sure.
And so it makes a really big difference for the home seller. The bottom line is that, for example, if you were going to, like the average price of a house in Anchorage is what, like $350,000, something like that?
Pretty close. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so say just, being conservative. If you have a $350,000 house and you stage it so you can sell for 10% more, you can probably sell your house for $385,000.
Sure.
But if you don't stage it, you're starting off at $350,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it sits on the market for 2 or 3 months and it's not selling, as that time goes by, you're losing money because every month your realtor is probably going, we need a price reduction
Mm-hmm.
of $5,000 or $10,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're paying for your mortgage and your taxes, utilities, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So again, maybe you end up selling for 10% less than your starting price.
Sure.
So, that's the difference between, maybe you're making $385,000 and you're selling fast, or
Mm-hmm.
you're making $315,000 and dragging it out for a while.
Sure.
And ultimately, the cost of staging is usually 1% or less. I found most of the time it's like 0.5%. So, say you spend $2,000 or, based on how long you've got it on the market, $2,000 or $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
But to make $35,000, it's worth that little bit of investment rather than not doing it all and losing $35,000. So there, there's a big range of what can happen. It's just a matter of thinking about it as an investment,
Sure.
and it's definitely worth it for the seller.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. What do you love most about your business?
The thing that I really love about this business is watching the transformation or the magic happening.
Mm-hmm.
And even for me, it's surprising because I'll go into a house and I'll be like, oh my God, this house doesn't look so great. And then I start doing the staging. And in the end, it's like, oh my God, I love this house. I want to buy this house. And so I surprise myself at how it transforms in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love it, when I'm done, if the owner sees it and they love it and they're like, now I don't want to move, or they, they're just really happy with the way things look. And the other part of that too is that for a lot of people, their house is their very biggest asset. So if they can sell their house for more because it looks great,
Mm-hmm.
that might be the difference between them finding the house they really want to move into, or having extra money for retirement, or helping to pay for their kids' education, stuff like that.
Sure.
So when I can make a difference for them in that way, and they're really happy, that's a really good feeling for me.
Got it. Okay. What do you think sets you apart from other people in your industry?
I think that there's probably numerous things that set me apart. There's probably a lot of people don't know this, but in the home staging industry, there's really no requirements whatsoever for licensing or for education or training. If you want to call yourself a home stager, you can hang out your sign and call yourself a home stager.
Sure.
And that's okay. Some of the things that set me apart, though, is that probably unlike 90% of the home stagers, I actually have a 4-year degree in interior design.
Mm-hmm.
Got the educational background. I've also gone through an extensive home staging training program with Deborah Gould. She's known as the Staging Diva, and she's got an excellent program. And then just this year, I won the Best of House 2016 Customer Service Award,
Congrats.
which was the whole region. I think I'm the only one in the whole region and possibly the whole state that got that award. So I feel like, what I can bring to my customers is the education, the training, the experience, and a thumbs up from my customers.
Nice. Excellent. Well, congrats on that award, by the way.
Thank you. It was really exciting to get that.
Absolutely. Describe to me your ideal customer or client.
I would say my ideal customer is somebody who really believes in staging and they want to work together with me as a team to create, this beautiful product to put on the market. And they go into it, with a positive attitude, because then it's a really fun process working together like
Sure.
that.
Right. Awesome. Tell me, what does the first 90 minutes of your day look like usually?
Most of the time, I get up and I spend my first 90 minutes with communication and marketing. I usually go through all my emails and check about, just communicating with people to see if there's any new jobs. And I'm also checking with my customers quite a bit to see how they're doing, to see if they need anything, just making sure that, we're all on the same page. I spend a lot of time on marketing. I write articles for my blog on my website, and a newsletter, and I've got I'm always promoting information I think is valuable or helpful to people. I've got a Facebook page and a Google Plus page and Twitter and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend a lot of time doing that. And then if I have a job that day where I'm going to come and stage your house, I'm probably packing my car to the brim with all this cool stuff that I'm going to bring over there to make it look amazing.
Sure. Okay. Good deal. What would you say is your biggest weakness as an entrepreneur in general, not just your, staging part of the business?
I would say that my biggest weakness is probably the tendency to want to provide too much information.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always trying to watch myself if I'm speaking or I'm writing or creating a video to try to keep things shorter, more concise. Because I think that, people, you're more likely to get your message across if it's shorter
Mm-hmm.
than if it's too long.
Sure.
And also, I think working with people too for staging, like doing a consultation, they're already kind of, stressed out because they're going through the process of selling their house, and they can only handle so much information. So keeping things shorter, sweeter, and easier to digest is, just easier for the client.
Sure. And what steps are you taking to remedy that?
When I create, documents, I do a lot of proofreading and try to always keep working on how can I make this shorter. If I create a video, I try to keep it like under 3 minutes if possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm working with a person, I kind of watch how they're reacting. So, if we're going through a consultation, it's getting so, they're still like, tell me more,
Mm-hmm.
provide them as much as possible. But if I, starting to see that they're getting tired, and you can tell when people are kind of getting to the limit of how much information they can take in. So just kind of watching people and being sensitive.
Sure. Okay. Being aware.
Like if their eyes glaze over, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah. I hear you. Same in my industry. Same thing. Some people want to know everything. Some people don't want to know anything. They just want you to take care of it.
Right.
So you gotta, go by each person one at a time. What would you say is your biggest strength?
I think my biggest strength is I am really good at making things happen. And I recently just did this test. Gallup puts out a test. It's like an entrepreneurial profile.
Mm-hmm.
That I knew you were going to ask me that question. So I'm like, well, I think I know, but maybe I should check and see what other people might think. So I took that test, and it said my strength was being what they call an activator, which is basically means that I want to get things done, and I expect a lot from myself and from other people, and I don't wait for things to happen, and I make them happen. And it was a result of having the ability to take risks and to being independent and confident and determined, and all those things together kind of make me that kind of a person. And I believe that test result was true, because I've had different people throughout my life tell me, Marianne, if I ever want to get something done or start a business, I'm going to enlist your help because I know you will make it happen, which is a good thing. So
Right.
I feel
Nice.
like, that's probably my greatest strength. I might, who knows what I might make happen, but I'll make something happen.
You'll get it done. Nice.
Right?
Okay. What is one habit that you wish you had?
I wish that one habit I think that I would like to develop is being able to get like more sleep, because I tend to be a night owl. I want to stay up and get ideas. I want to like get, totally immersed in things. And so I tend to be like, 5 to 6 hours a night, which probably isn't enough.
Uh-huh.
So I've tried, to develop that habit of giving myself more sleep. I don't know if it's going to work. I just tried it last night going to bed early, and after 6 hours, just woke up. So
Right.
it may not ever work for me, but that's something I'm trying to be better at.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. What's one thing right now like you're super fired up about and excited?
I am really excited about the possibility of kind of transitioning into making staging and designing my main focus and my main business, because right now I'm looking forward to retiring from my other career as a wildlife biologist.
Uh-huh.
And I started this business while still doing this other job and my having my bed and breakfast. But I feel like my business has hit this turning point where it's a lot more and more is happening. So I can really see that, I can transition out of that, and I can actually see myself doing this job full time, which would make me really happy. So just the idea of making that happen is something that I feel like I can do that, and I'm going to do that. And so I'm just really excited about the possibilities. So
Awesome. That's fantastic. All right, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. I want to hear a little bit more of your story. Every entrepreneur's had ups and downs. I'm sure you've had plenty of ups and downs. Take us to the story of your worst entrepreneurial moment.
I think my first year in business, I remember having a customer that was really, really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to their house to do a staging consultation and then potentially some, actual staging. And when I got there, they were like mad, they were angry and upset before they even opened the door. And as soon as I realized, okay, this is not going to be fun,
Uh-huh.
But I tried to work with them and do my best to give them, helpful information and just, go through the process with them. And it seemed like no matter what I said, they were not happy with anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just remember when I got home after that, I think I spent about 6 hours over there. And I just remember feeling like really kind of defeated by the whole thing and questioning myself and wondering like, no, maybe I'm not cut out for this kind of job. Maybe I don't have the right temperament for this, or, just really questioning if I was going down the right road with this profession.
Sure.
But, I just kept on going and kept on doing what I was doing. And I realized later on that it really wasn't about me. It was more about them, and that they were probably somebody who was very stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like home selling process, which most people are. But I think also maybe this person did not want to move and were maybe they were potentially being forced to sell, and they were the person that was in the family that was having to be responsible for the whole process. And I think they just were angry and upset about the whole thing. So
Sure.
it was trying to look at the situation more from a bigger perspective of what was really going on and how it was affecting them, and not just how it affected me.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, it can be a stressful time. Anytime you're moving, selling, buying, real
Right.
estate, period, can be stressful. So looking back at that situation, what would you like our listeners to take from that situation that you had?
I think there was two different things that I got out of that situation that were important. One is that most of us in our businesses we're being paid or we're being asked to fix some kind of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's more important to put the customer before the problem.
Sure. Okay.
So just going and fixing the problem isn't necessarily, I guess, the most important thing. Make the customer a priority, even if you don't end up fixing the problem. You know what I'm saying? I think
Sure.
good customer service is making the customer a higher priority than the problem sometimes.
Sure.
And then the second thing, which is kind of like on the opposite end of the spectrum, is that sometimes I think you just have to know when it's better to walk away, because not every, I think of working with someone in home staging as kind of like a team effort, and sometimes you're just not a really good team together.
Right.
And, in that situation, I probably would have been better off if I had just walked away from that situation rather than stayed with it. But I learned a lot from staying with it.
Sure.
Which I think will help me in the future.
Sure. Okay. Got it. In your business, it can be any one of your businesses, did you ever have an aha moment or an epiphany that helped you out a lot, where you just said, now now I see the light and this is much better now,
Right. I'm not sure if I've had one of those moments in either of my businesses right now, but I think that I had a moment like that when I started my staging and design business. That's kind of what inspired me to do that.
Uh-huh.
And that moment kind of came, it was just really weird. But, I had gone to school and got my degree in interior design many years ago, but and I had done some work with interior design, but I also had this love of animals, and I kind of had this other opportunity and went down a different path there for a while, and went off and got a degree in biology and became a wildlife biologist as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing around on Facebook one night, and I was, playing one of those games, and I took this little test. It was like, what's your true profession?
Mm-hmm.
And so then it came up as designer. So, of course, I'm like, what? So I went through all the soul searching and was like, wow, I wonder what my life would have been like if I had, stayed in that and I didn't go down this other path, and, thinking about, how everything might have been different. Mm-hmm. And then it just occurred to me, the aha moment, the light went on, well, I don't see why I can't do it right now.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And so I did.
So you did it.
So within, probably 2 months of taking that test, I decided this is what I'm going to do, figured out how I was going to do it, went through the training program, started the business, and made it happen.
Awesome. So your epiphany was really finding a path that you wanted to go down and going down.
Well, it's reminding myself that, this was something that I really wanted to do before, and I always was very interested. It's still something that's in me and I'd like to do. And just the epiphany was that, just because I didn't do it before doesn't mm-hmm. mean I can't do it now. I guess the epiphany is it's never too late to do what you want to do or what makes you happy. All you have to do is just decide mm-hmm. and just do it.
Got it. So that's probably part of my next question was, what did you want our listeners to take away from that? Is it basically that, it's never too late. You can do what you want to do at any point in time?
Yeah, I totally believe that. I don't think it matters how old you are or what else you're doing. If there's something you really feel is in your heart that would make you happy to do as a business or whatever it is in your life, mm-hmm. all it takes is just deciding that's what you want to do and start taking action towards making that happen, and you can do it.
Absolutely. 100% agree. In the past, was there anything that was holding you back from, I guess, starting the staging business? Or did it not occur?
I think probably, although throughout my life I thought about, I should start a business sometime, I think I was so busy working for other people and really putting my heart and soul into whatever I was doing for them.
Sure.
That
mm-hmm.
I didn't, it was kind of an idea in the back of my mind rather than something that I was, actively thinking about doing. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing too is I probably, never felt like, oh, I have the perfect business idea. Mm-hmm. It was kind of more nebulous. But what was interesting was when I started my first business, the bed and breakfast, that was never my perfect business idea. It was never something I even thought about doing. It was
Sure.
not like I dreamed of being a B&B owner.
Sure. Right.
There was this opportunity that came up, and where I live is the perfect place to do it. Somebody recommended, oh, you should start a B&B. You always have all these people coming and wanting to stay at your house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never thought about it before. And then after I thought about it a little bit, it's like, it really is. It's an opportunity. It's a really good idea. It would be easy enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of jumped on the idea and made it happen. And I've been doing it ever since. It's been very successful and an enjoyable business.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that case, it was all about just recognizing an opportunity and making it happen.
Right. Cool. Awesome. What would
And then after that, it was like I realized, oh my God, starting a business is easy. I think I'll just start another one.
Right. Yeah. Once you jump in and you figure it out, it's not that hard. I mean, it takes.
I think for a lot of people, starting a business sounds like a big scary monster. And when it comes right down to it, if you have a good idea and you have the drive and the willingness to put in the time and the work to make it happen, you get a business license in like 5 minutes online. It's really not hard. It's just that part's easy. It's what you do afterwards.
Right.
It's going to take the time.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is the best advice that you've ever received?
I think the best advice I got was really similar to what I was saying before, and that's actually one of the reasons I said that is that, the part about we're often asked to fix a problem, but making your customer your highest priority over the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I was given that advice by a fellow stager, and I just think that's really good advice.
Sure.
And I talked to her when that situation was happening with that customer, and that's the advice she gave me, which helped me, frame my thinking about the whole thing, and I've kept that in mind ever since.
Excellent. Is there a personal habit that you do have that you believe greatly contributes to your success?
I think I'm a very persistent person.
Uh-huh.
So might call that stubborn, but I think persistence is a good word, and I think being persistent in business is a very important quality to have, because you need to stick it out.
Oh yeah.
And give your business a chance to grow and not give up.
Absolutely.
So.
All right. Absolutely. Do you have an internet resource that you would maybe recommend to maybe other entrepreneurs?
I think that, for an entrepreneur, my favorite resources have been listening to Jim Rohn.
Uh-huh.
He's an amazing, inspirational, motivational speaker and a great business philosopher. He's not alive anymore, but he's got a lot of audio CDs out there and books and things like that. As a matter of fact, I just listened to everything he did in the last 3 days. Of just been on a Jim Rohn, extravaganza.
Sure.
So he's so inspirational, and he's got such good advice, and he puts things into really simple terms, and I just really love listening to him. So I would say, if you can get inspired by that guy, nothing's going to work for you. So I would definitely recommend that. There's a 4 CD set called The Challenge to Succeed that I have that I'd recommend to everybody as a good resource.
Okay, excellent. If you could recommend one book to our listeners, what would it be?
I would recommend Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Excellent
I don't have the book, but you can also listen to the book on a CD, an audio book. It's really good.
I can attest to that. That book changed my life completely. If people take that book for what it is, they realize that they can do whatever they put their mind to in all reality. So yeah, I love that book. Okay, so imagine you wake up tomorrow in a brand new world. The world is identical to Earth, but you don't know anyone. You still have all the experience and knowledge that you have today. Your food and shelter is taken care of. All you have is a laptop and $500. What do you do for the next 7 days?
I would probably do something very similar to what I did when I started my staging business, because it really didn't cost a lot to get it started. The first thing I would do is take that laptop and I would get myself a domain name and a website and build a website to, show people what I can do and what I offer. And then I would start marketing what I'm doing on, like Facebook and different platforms like that are free to kind of get the word out. And the other thing I would do, which I also did when I started my business, is I went out and looked for people that were doing, similar work or in related fields to home staging and just got to know them and volunteered my time. So I'll come and help you do whatever you need done just so I can, learn about it and help them and kind of build those relationships. And I guess at this point, if I was like starting over, I'd still volunteer, I'd still help people, but it wouldn't be so much about learning anymore as establishing the relationships with people.
Sure. Okay. What would you say is your favorite quote?
There's one that I've always liked, and I think the person who said its name was Vivian Green. It's life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain.
It's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, I always like that.
Do you have a good parting piece of guidance that you could share with our listeners?
I guess probably the biggest guidance I could give to people is, if you start a business, don't give up. It's going to take as long as it takes, and maybe it'll take longer for you than somebody else. You just never know. But at some point, if you keep at it and you're persistent and work hard at it, you're going to have your turning point, and everything will turn around for you. The thing is, you don't know when that's going to be. So if you give up tomorrow or you give up today, what if your turning point was tomorrow and you never knew? You were almost there and you gave up. Just keep at it and just stick with it until it happens for you.
Perfect. Just like in that book, Think and Grow Rich, the story of the guy that's digging for gold, and he gives up, and the gold's like 6 inches away from him, and then the next guy comes in and strikes gold right away.
Yeah, I forgot about that because actually it's been a little while since I read that book, and I have it. And I know a lot of the business philosophers that you hear out there these days, they always you can tell that they have that book as kind of the baseline for what they're teaching in a lot of ways. But yeah, so actually the reason I say that is my mentor, who's Deborah Gould, she says that a lot. She's always telling us, you never know, your turning point might be tomorrow. Don't be giving up.
Yep.
So,
perfect. That's great advice. So tell everyone how they can connect with you regarding, any and all of your businesses.
Well, people can, for my home staging and design business, you can look me up on the internet at www.northernlightstaging.com. You can call me 907-362-0065 or email me at info@northernlightstaging.com. And I'm on Facebook too. If you just look up Northern Lights Home Staging Design on Facebook, you'll find me. And then as far as my bed and breakfast, it's called Arctic Paradise B&B. You just look me up on the internet. The business line for that is 907-491-1253.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Marianne, for being on the show. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great. I think it's such a great idea what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to listening to some of your other guests and see what kind of advice they have, and really appreciate you inviting me.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And I'm on Facebook too. If you just look up Northern Lights home staging design. On Facebook, you'll find me. And then as far as my bed and breakfast, it's called Arctic Paradise B&B. You can just look me up on the internet. The business line for that is 907-491-1253.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Marianne, for being on the show. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great. I think it's such a great idea what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to listening to some of your other guests and see what kind of advice they have, and really appreciate you inviting me.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
To all you listeners out there, I'm always searching for inspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, and thought leaders in our community to speak with, and I depend on your recommendation of local experts. If you know someone that would be a great fit for us, please let us know. You can email me at chris@anchorageadvicegivers.com. You can also find us on Facebook. If you'd like a free copy of my book, The Value-Driven Approach to Sell Real Estate, simply go to www.valuebookforcharity.com. That's valuebook4charity.com. You can check out my blog at www.valuedrivenrealty.com. Also, if you are or know someone that is an entrepreneur and or business owner, I co-founded a networking group named the Entrepreneurs Networking Group. This group actually teaches you how to effectively market, to acquire new clients, and focuses on the masterminding and growing as a group, with the bonus of meeting great individuals. If you or someone you know could benefit and contribute to such a group, check out www.anchorageeng.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.